My topic is cutting fluid. This type of the fluids are used in a metal cutting operation. The cutting fluid play a very important role to removing the heat from the cutting tools and workpiece. The cutting fluids are available in a market with a different names and it's according to their uses like that coolant. So coolant are used in a automobile vehicles as used in a radiator to absorb the heat from the engine. So due to use of the coolant to increase the efficiency of the engine. Second number is lubricant. So lubricant are used in a two types, two form, oil form and grease. So oil are used when two part of the components of the machine moving to each other to reduce the friction them between to them by use of a oil. Grease are used where the component bearing the heavy load like a bearing, uh, and cranks and agriculture machinery parts. So use the grease to reduce the friction and absorb the heat. Third number is cutting fluid. So cutting fluid are used in a different applications. Number one is when the workpiece is moving at a different speed, tool is moved in a transversely plane parallel to the axis of the workpiece. So metal is removed with the help of the cutting tool. So on this surface the heat is produced by the use of the cutting tools. The heat is removed by the use of a cutting fluids and to get the good finishing on the workpiece. A second number case, the, the milling cutter and workpiece move in a same direction. So it is called the down milling process. Due to the milling cutter on the surface of the workpiece, heat is produced at this point. Due to the use of the milling cutter, the heat is removed by the cutting fluids. The 15% heat is removed by the coolant, 70% heat is removed by the chips, 15% heat is absorbed by the workpiece. Third number is, in this case, shaper and planer no need the cutting fluids. So why? In this case, tool is not moved on a workpiece with a high speed. This operation is are coming the category in the roughing the cutting the rough metal. So phone number is this is the cast iron material. Cast iron material. The carbon are occur in a cast iron material in a free state form. Free state form means the carbon are present in this form like a patches form. When the tool is moved to remove the metal in the form of the chips, the heat is produced here on the surface. The heat is absorbed by the carbon patches. So this metal, the cast iron metal, is called the anti self lubricant material. The fifth number is the oil, the aluminum. If you want to perform the drill in a aluminum workpiece, so the kerosene oil are used as a lubricant to remove the heat from the aluminum workpiece. These are the example of this cutting fluids. How to produce? The cutting fluids are available in a market in the reddish color. Reddish color. After preparing the cutting fluids, it will become the milky color. So how to perform? How to prepare the cutting fluids? 10 ml oil are added to the 5-liter water. So to preparing, you should keep your mind. Before preparing the cutting fluids. The hard water is not used to preparing the cutting fluids. Why? The oil are floating on the surface of the hard water. It is not completely mixed to each other. It means that the soft water are always used to preparing the cutting fluids. The 10 milligram, 10 milliliter oil are mixed with the 5-liter. This solution preparing this solution is called the transparently or lean solution. So when the 100 ml oil are added to 5 liter water to preparing the cutting fluids is called the fatty. What will be the difference between two this solution? The 10 ml oil is very less in this 5 liter water, so this reaction is performed, produce Fe plus H2O plus O2, it became a ferric hydroxide. So hydroxide is produced in the presence of the oxygen. So there will be a more chance to create the rusting on the surface due to the lean solution are used as a cutting tools. So this solution of the cutting tools are very suitable, used for the cutting oil, and you will get the good finishing on the workpiece and avoid the this problem of the rusting. So there are so many function of the cutting oil. Number one is to remove the metal, to to carrying out the chips from the point of the cutting tools. Number two is to absorb the heat from the cutting tools and the workpiece. Number three is to obtain the finishing on the workpiece. So what will be the quality? What should be the quality of the cutting fluids? Number one is the cutting fluid should be non-poisonable. Number two is the cutting fluid should be anti-welding property. The anti-welding property means when the tool is moved in this direction to remove the metal, some material are deposited at the point of the cutting tool due to the heating. The cutting the deposited metal is affected uh, on the surface of the workpiece. You will not get the good finishing on the workpiece if the cutting fluids and not including the anti welding property. So the fluid have a anti welding property. Third number is the due to using during the using cutting fluids not not produce the any smoke, not produce the any smoke. These are the properties, these are the quality of the cutting oil, and these are the function of the oil. A different type of the cutting fluids are used in a industries and every engineering works and other workshop to removing the heat and increase the tool life, and also to obtain the good finishing on the workpiece by using the different type of the coolant. uh, uh, I think you will understand about the cutting fluids. Thank you very much. uh, so,